Today is the National Day of Action for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. This day is incredibly important to me, and it means a lot that I acknowledge it because we currently have transient workers all throughout our territories. And I have had several cousins go missing along the Highway of Tears. My cousin Cecilia went missing when I was 10. My cousin Delphine went missing when I was 11. My childhood friend Ramona Wilson went missing when I was 16. My foster sister Danielle went missing when I was 24. And my cousin Frances went missing a few years ago. Jessica Patrick, a niece of one of my friends, went missing and was found murdered. And these are all women, Indigenous women, within our territories. And there has been little to no justice. Yet, the government continues to push projects like Coastal GasLink and all other resource extraction projects throughout so-called BC, which 95% of is unceded territories. The government continues to assert this authority over our lands, which ends up jeopardizing the safety of our women and girls. And when you come from a matrilineal and matriarchal society, that is ripping away and endangering the most precious thing that we have. Our women, our girls, our two-spirit, and our femmes are the most important people in our lives. They're connected inherently to the earth. Everything we talk about the earth bringing life, our women bring life. Our women and our girls sustain us. So it's incredibly important that we talk about missing and murdered Indigenous women and the connection to resource extraction projects and the danger that it puts our women and girls in. And we talk about the connection of women and girls to the earth. We need to ensure that we acknowledge that. Everybody has women in their life. You all have mothers. Everybody understands the importance of women. And do people understand the importance of the connection there? Some do, some don't. And the thing is that I'm preaching to the choir right now. I'm sure that everybody here understands. But how do we get our collective voices out? It can't just be sitting behind a computer screen, sitting passively, while Indigenous women are on the front lines, putting themselves at risk. When women are out on the territories, alone, my aunt spends a lot of time alone at a cabin out at Laksamasu territories where they have built up cabins. I know it's not safe for her. I'm not always able to be there. Other community members, a lot of them are fearful because of the transient workers throughout our territories. So it takes other people making sure that they're following things, that they're being loud, being heard. Because this isn't just in our territories that this is happening, that our communities, our women and girls are being put at risk because of resource extraction. It's happening in every community. I look at the number of women, I've been doing my genealogy, and I'm looking at the number of women that had babies that were stillborn. And then I think about the connection of the pipeline going through our territories or mining and the runoff from that affecting, because they don't run through white communities. They run through Indigenous communities. They run through Indigenous territories. And I think about the connection to our women's health and reproductive systems and how much how many more issues we are going to see because of that. Everybody's heard, talks about reconciliation and so-called residential schools and medical testing that was done on women, girls, children at those schools that ended up having long-term effects on reproductive health. Our communities have been decimated by the colonial system, and they continue to jeopardize our health and safety for the sake of colonial capitalism, which only serves a few people. It's not serving the whole. This whole system isn't serving the whole. It's serving those at the top of the food chain. So again, I'm preaching to the choir. I don't know what else to tell people aside from be loud, make sure that you're supporting people. And not just the groups that you see in the news or, the ones that have media teams that can make headlines. Do your homework. Find out what smaller groups are out there that you can support, smaller Indigenous, resistance movements. Support them. Support the Indigenous people around you. Because once we're stronger and once we have the support, and that doesn't mean speaking over, it doesn't mean speaking for, nobody needs white saviors. It means standing behind, standing beside, and amplifying the voices of Indigenous people and all Indigenous people. Because once we're stronger, once our communities are stronger and we know that we're heard, we have it in us to ensure that we're fighting for the protection of our territories. Because we've done just that since time immemorial. So I appreciate everybody being here and listening to me run on for probably longer than the 5 minutes, but I'm so grateful for Dogwood, for everybody that's helped out and supported. And like I said, check into some of the other people who are standing against these things. Like Samisu, my father clan, has built up a village on their own. They don't have $1 million in funding like other camps. They've done it on their own with very little help. So reach out to those people who are not looking for media attention. Reach out to the people in your communities and help them where you can. And Tabi Masai.